Today we're going to be looking at the ZooMed ReptiSun LED UVB panel. So they sent this over to me so that I could do a review and different videos with it, so thanks. But you don't need to worry because opinions are always going to be my own, whether I paid for the product I'm looking at or not. So what we have available are multiple types. Firstly, we have 3 variations. I have the one with the LED and the UVB, which are 2 different types of lights. Some just have LEDs and then some just have UVB. So the ReptiSun LED UVBs, you can get it in a 14-inch, 24-inch, 30-inch, 36-inch, or 48-inch. The LED panel, the ones I can find, are 9 to 13 inches or 8 to 26 inches. There's 2 different variations. And then the UVB, I can find in a 24, 30, 36, and 48 inch. So there's a lot of different variations. The one I have here is the ReptiSun LED UVB 36 inch, which perfectly fits on a 40 gallon. You can see it right there. Now these panels range from about $40 to $180 on Amazon. There's all the links I'm gonna have linked down in the description through a kit.com kit, so you can check everything out there. You can also find these at pet stores like PetSmart and Petco, for example. But to warn you, the prices go up to $280 here. So if you want to save money, definitely go with those Amazon links instead, because the higher priced ones are actually about $100 cheaper on Amazon. So we've got this panel here. It's a huge panel. You can see it just looks really nice. I'm going to be showing a lot of clips. We'll talk more about my opinions later, but let's talk about some more of the features that this thing actually offers. So this 36-inch has a place for a 36-inch UVB bulb or tube light or whatever you want to call it, and this is included in the product. It's a very bright UVB, very strong UVB. It's 10% UVB, 30% UVA. Not all reptiles require UVB, but even the ones that don't can really benefit from it. And the nocturnal and crepuscular animals don't require it. They can often get all of the D3 and things they need through supplements and vitamins that you'll be giving them, but the UVB is often a really great beneficial thing. This is on my ball python. He's a nocturnal snake, but he can still benefit from this UVB. But this additional light actually encourages him to come out more often. A lot of people have mentioned how they've seen their snakes, whether they're diurnal or what. Same thing with lizards, that they become a lot more active when they have UVB available because they know that they can benefit from it. Now we can talk about the really nice looking LEDs. There's quite a few on here. There's a whole panel just covered in them, goes all the way across the panel, and you can see it really makes that enclosure nice and bright and looks really nice. There's white, red, and blue LEDs available on this to use. You can choose exactly which ones you want. You can just turn on the white, you can turn on the white and red, or you can just turn on the blue. LEDs are primarily here for lighting and because it's very beneficial to plants. In fact, the red is even more beneficial than that white. So the red's completely there just to really help the plants out. If you have any live plants growing in there, they will benefit from that. The white just give additional lighting, and I believe they help the plants out too. And then the blue are considered the moonlight bulbs, which are made to turn on at night. I've noticed it's actually pretty bright. If you know me, I don't like the nighttime bulbs because they often are too bright. So what I usually do is when it's getting dark, just actually outside, I turn off the main lights and then turn on that blue light. It's almost like a little sunset period. And then when I'm about to go to sleep, I turn the blue lights off too, because I am just a little concerned that they're still too bright. Either way though, this mix of lights, it looks really nice. The blue lights give a really nice ambient look. And I was kind of concerned that the enclosure would look too red with the red lights on, but the white really kind of washes the red out, so it looks like a completely normal enclosure, even with all those lights on. But I really like that you can choose exactly which bulbs turn on. If you just want the UVB on, just want the LEDs on, just want certain colors of the LEDs, or if you want everything on, like I have right now. Another nice thing about the LEDs is they do not affect the temperature. They will get like a tiny bit warm. If you were to touch them, you could feel warmth, but it will not change the temperature of your enclosure. And ZooMed said that these are graded to last about 20,000 hours. And I calculated out with the time I use, about 12 hours a day or so, then that means that that should last about 4.5 years. So I can't tell you how long this is actually gonna last, but I'll try to remember to give you an update in 4.5 years to see if it's still working. So that's basically everything we've got feature-wise. Now I wanna talk about what I actually think about it. Okay, so firstly, you can't say that this doesn't look just amazing. It's so bright. It really brings out all the colors of the entire enclosure. Like, just compare it to the usual heat lights you might use in an enclosure. or just LEDs like an LED bulb or a single UVB bulb that's not a tube. It does the job, it gets it lit up, but this one, just the fact that it's completely covering the enclosure side to side, it just makes it so bright in there, and it's to a brightness that's not going to affect your animal. Your snake or lizard or whatever is going to be just fine in this. Design-wise, I think it just looks really nice. It completely blends in with the enclosure, but like I've got these little heat bulbs here. Those things completely just stick out on top, and I don't know, I don't really like the look of them. I don't mind the look of the black ones too much, but especially the silver ones don't look too great. But because this is so flat, like a panel should be, you really don't even notice it. It saves a lot of space if you do have this on a shelf, and I haven't actually tried it, but it came with pieces to hang this from what I assume a ceiling or a rack. So if you don't want to have to take the panel off, which I actually don't even have to take the panel off, I can completely slide that lid off without the panel moving because it's the exact size. But if you didn't want it directly on the enclosure, you can hang it up like that, at least with the one that I got. So there's, as you saw, a ton of different sizes. There were like over a dozen different variations of this, and that means it's really going to work with a lot of your enclosures. So the 40 gallon is exactly 36 inches long, which means that that panel is exactly 30 inches long. Now the weird thing about this is there's these little slidey pieces that come out the sides. So if your enclosure was bigger than 36, like say if it was 40 something inches long, you can actually pull those plastic pieces out so that they perfectly fit snug and it doesn't slide around. The thing is, I have these in, and maybe I'm just supposed to take them off, but they're not effective on a 36 inch because it basically goes over the edges. So I probably will just take these off, because if I push them in all the way, you can't actually access the little light buttons. When I made this complete 40 gallon build, which you can watch in another video, a couple people actually noticed that altogether there's 20 white LEDs. If I counted right, hopefully I counted right. But 2 of the LEDs are a little bit dim, like they're kind of just half working, and it was like that as soon as I turned it on. But 2 out of 20, that's what, 10% of them, you really don't even notice. So yeah, I would be a lot more concerned if a lot of these LEDs were defective, but just 2 of them aren't perfectly lit up, but they do still turn on, and it doesn't cause problems with the other lights. Also, something I just noticed is there's no irritating UVB buzz. Like I have 2 UVBs up here. Yeah, just from here I can hear them buzzing. I don't know what the difference is, but it doesn't make any noise, so it's not irritating. So you could definitely consider this to be one of the higher end accessories. I'm not sure if it's even an accessory, it's more of closer to a necessity, even though you have other things to choose from. But yeah, it is on the more expensive side. So do I think it's worth it? Well, from my use from it, I definitely think it is. I would happily get one for another enclosure because it is a really strong build. It looks really nice. There are those 2 little defective LEDs. That's the only issue I've run into. Everything seems high quality. I feel perfectly safe with this on my thing. I've used some other heat lamps that just seem kind of cheap. In fact, you can actually find people who had fires start due to basically cheap quality stuff, but this does not feel cheap at all. This feels quite premium. I feel very fancy seeing it on the enclosure. So in my opinion, you will definitely not be disappointed getting one of these LED panels or UVB panels or UVB LED panels. And yeah, that's just about everything I can think of. Everything is thriving in there. The plants are doing really well. Somehow I'm not killing them. And I feel like it has to at least somehow have to do with those LEDs on there, which it's proven that different types of LEDs definitely contribute to the life of plants. But make sure you check out my other video where I built this enclosure, because I used a ton of ZooMed products in this that they sent over. So that was a really fun build, and thank you again for helping me out with that. But everything in this enclosure is thriving really well. If you did want an update, I guess this is a little update. Again, somehow didn't kill the plants yet. I did get springtails for it. I haven't seen any springtails in a while. I'm hoping they're just buried somewhere really deep. But yeah, Sunny, ball python, is happy. I'm happy with the enclosure, and I'm very happy with this panel. Very few complaints for this panel. Really, the only constructive complaints I have are the fact that the buttons get covered when those little thingies are pushed in all the way, but I'm probably just gonna take those out because I'm not worried about it sliding off or not staying in the right place. So yeah, hopefully this helps you out making a decision on whether you should buy one of these or not. Again, everything is linked in the description on Amazon. You can find them in pet stores and on the pet store sites, but they are a lot more expensive there. But let me know what you think of this product. Let me know of other products you know of. Just let me know whatever you want in the comments of this video. But that's gonna be it. So I'm Alex, and thanks for watching.